best of the year post. I just posted it today, I saw it a few days ago and scheduled a few posts in advance on our pages because there was still a lot of reviews from last year, which I wanted to share. And that best of the year stuff, we were also included with a few bands and some best of the year posts, which is really cool and really, showing that there's something that we are doing right, what we're doing. I'm really proud of the bands. It's really cool. We've had some amazing albums, and I think it's a pretty cool start for our label. Like when we started a year ago and had some nice releases of different genres out. It was really, it was a fun ride. Maybe not the best year to start a label, but we got over that year, so I guess can't get any worse now.
That was basically what I was going to start with asking you. It must have been quite the interesting experience starting a label and getting hit with the whole pandemic thing.
I mean, the good thing is that our focus is on digital anyways, everything online. So that's where I come from. When I worked for Nuclear Blast for 12 years, I was always taking care of digital sales, online marketing, social media, and that stuff. So it wasn't a big difference. So it didn't hit us as hard as it could have, focusing on digital from the first day on. But of course, when end of 2019, when we started with a label and signed the first bands and prepared the label launch and the first releases, no one could have imagined what the world was going to look like just a few weeks later. So it was really weird. And of course, we've lost a few release tours for some of our bands who had a new album out. And of course, the whole physical landscape was really hard or pretty much impossible to plan anything with lockdowns, and with shops closing down and people at distributors didn't really work full time, or when stuff is closed, you can't really get your CDs into the stores and people can't get to the stores. So it was really, really tricky. So at least the digital side worked pretty well. And we're working on a merch shop now for this year so that we finally can offer our physical releases with a direct to customers solution. So also produce some merch, because that was this year we didn't really get to that yet. So we were still busy, launching everything and signing new bands, which went pretty well. But I think now it's time to have our own shop and not being dependent on all those stores where you don't know what it's gonna look like tomorrow. So that's why it's better to be independent from that and have our own shop and produce our own merch and make sure that fans get everything from one hand, because right now when a fan wants to order from one of his favorite bands, when he wants to order a CD and a shirt, then the CD comes from Germany, from our warehouse, and the shirt might come from Finland, from the band's own shop or warehouse. So that's what is not really ideal, when it comes to shipping costs and packaging and everything. So that's why I think it will be a huge step for us when we can offer stuff directly now. And of course, we'll have some new bands for this year and lots of new signings and exciting stuff. It's going to be a dark year musically, because previously it was important for the first year to show our variety of styles, and of course, since I'm signing the band, also my variety of taste, from more melodic stuff, from old school stuff to really modern and progressive stuff, and also very evil stuff, when it comes to death metal and black metal. And looking at the release schedule for this year, there's a lot of dark stuff, so which is really cool. I'm really looking forward, to the black metal and death metal stuff now. So I think it fits pretty well to the vibe right now across the world.
And like you said, your roster right now, it's a quite diverse roster to start with, especially as a new label. It kind of impressed me how wide you went with the different styles.
Right, that was exactly one of the first questions pretty early on, when we thought is it better to become hopefully to become big in one niche, to make one or to sign bands in one genre and try to get big there and become some underground death metal label or something like that, or if it's better to open up early on and offering something for everyone, which I thought was a smart step, and it made sense because we got so many demos pretty much from the first day on, and of course there's a lot of crap in there, but also there are really nice gems which we found, and I thought it's really hard to turn down such a great, if you get a great album, that would be really hard to turn it down, you know, like Jaded Star, for example, which is very melodic and almost hard rock, you know, not really typical blast beat stuff. And I thought like, wow, it's just impressive, and it's really, I couldn't really turn down an offer of such a great band, you know, if you get such an album in your hands, and you just have to do it. So, or also some hard rock stuff, you know, heavy rock from Sorm from Sweden.
Yeah.
It's just too good to not work with it.
Yeah, it's cool, and you also like basically like released like first records of bands that were kind of coming back. I mean, the first release you brought out was Dawn of Solace, that like the much anticipated return of that project. That's kind of like immediately quite the statement you put down with your label.
Right, I think that was a great way to start the label, and it was I don't know how it came to life. I mean, I was just in touch with Thomas regarding something else, and then he was like, yeah, I've been following what you're doing since you left Nuclear, and I'm having this album almost ready, and we're thinking about talking to you anyways. And I was like, yeah, sure, just send me, if you have any demo songs, just send over and we can talk about anything. And yeah, of course, I heard the first songs of the new Dawn of Solace. I was like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a great way to start the label with that first release. And then we followed up with Night Crown, which got so many good reviews, and people were also freaking out. And you never know if it's a new band, if fans will, or if there will be any fans, you know, if they like what they hear, and if media likes it and tries to push it for us. And yeah, we got so many good reviews and such amazing feedback right from the beginning. So we thought, okay, you got to continue that way. It's just perfect. And it's, of course, very motivating, you know, if you get that feedback. So, of course, it's hard to start something new, especially in this last year. But yeah, everyone kept us motivating, you know, with whomever we were talking with, you know, with like friends and new fans that we generated, and artists, and it was just, everyone was blown away and impressed and happy with it. So it was a no-brainer to continue that way. And I'm looking forward to the new year now. Hopefully things get better across the world. And yeah, as I said, I'm excited for the new releases that we'll have ready pretty soon.
Yeah, I think if there's one like consistent element with the releases you put out with the label, is that like, even if it's not everything fully like my thing, every single release had like really high quality. That was like very noticeable for me.
Yeah, I mean, that was most important. I mean, there's a lot of good music out there, but we didn't want to become one of many other underground labels. You know, it was important for me to work with professional people, to work with fun people. That's most important sometimes, that that you're having a good time with everyone. And of course, a great quality. So that's why we focus on really good vinyl releases as well, with good quality and good artwork. So we didn't do any jewel case CD stuff, but really focused on beautiful digipacks, you know, with nice quality. When you have something in your hands, that it feels good, that it looks good. And of course, sound has to be top notch. So only working with good studios and professional bands. Also, for videos, it's not always that easy because there are so many people doing videos nowadays, and sometimes it's just last minute that you have to move around a single and need some video for it, and you have just a few days. So, but still, we always looked into getting the best people on board to make quality releases from the first day on. I mean, that's really important because everyone can run a label from home, you know, from his couch, and just put some music online somewhere. But it was important for me to have also a good team, you know, with like a good distributor, you know, physically and digitally, like renowned companies. And also my partner is really experienced, our product manager, the PR agency we're working with. We're also just hired a new person for the US, so that we also have a publicist in the US now, which is also going to be a next big thing for us, our new target market for this year. yeah, just to make sure that everything is really quality nowadays, because yeah, with the internet there are so many bands and everyone can release music, and just important to stand out and make sure that people know. I mean, a label is a brand, you know, it stands for something, and for us it's good music, good quality, and of course heavy and dark music first and foremost.
Yeah, like to be honest, like the vibe I get a little bit of how you handle everything of the label and with the bands, and how you let them basically do their thing, and how you kind of pick out bands that have that like something extra that could possibly like get them far. It reminds me a little bit of how the Metal Blade label like has been run for a long time. Like that, like you do your thing like as a band, and like just bring the quality, and kind of really like that in a label, to see that.
Yeah, I mean that's also a very important part for us, because we think the bands know themselves. You know, they are the artists. We are the marketing people and the distribution people and the promotion people. So I think everyone. That's why I said so. I want to have an expert in every part. So when everyone does a great job, then combined it can only be successful. So that's why I think, of course, we check out the demos in advance, and if there's something where you think needs to be different or needs to be improved, or so we can just give opinions. You know, I never force a band to do something in a certain way that I want. You know, they are the artists, it's their music, and their band name is the label on the CD. You know. So they have to be happy with it, and of course, same for us. So we just wouldn't release a song or a video or anything where we don't stand behind, you know, the lyrics or the artwork and the band in general. And so that's why we have to be careful when we get so many demos. Make sure that it's good stuff, and that we can stand behind it with a good conscience. And so that's why. It's good to get many demos and to see, and I also have a lot of contacts anyways in the business, so it's good you can really cherry pick, you know, the really good bands, and think about if it makes sense to work with them, to have a conversation and see if the vibe fits, you know, not only musically or financially, but also, as I said, on a personal level. It's really important for me to not having to mess around with people and arguing all the time. It has to be fun, you know, otherwise it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, can't be all business all the time. I noticed that apparently you have quite the liking or love for Finnish bands. There were like 5 or 6 out of the 12 releases that were Finnish.
Yeah, that wasn't really our intention at the beginning, but it's as I said, if you get good demos from bands, and if 50% are from Finland, and it's just happened. And of course, also the connection, you know, with Thomas and Dawn of Solace helped a lot. So when we released the Dawn of Solace album with Mikko from Kaunis Kolematon doing the vocals, then he also he saw that the release went pretty well, you know, for Dawn of Solace. Then he came up with like, hey, I also have my own band, so maybe give it a listen, check it out. What do you think? And then we had the next band, and then we got some more demos from other bands, and also the album producer of both of these albums is Saku from Red Moon Architect. So that was the next one, and it's just incredible. It feels like they're sipping talent from their mother's boobs now from pretty early on. I don't know, or something is in the water in Finland. I don't know. It's just, I think they're just born with rock music in their blood. It's incredible. It's really good. It's really good quality. So it's probably Finland has the biggest density of great metal artists. So yeah, I mean, actually, one magazine already called us a Finnish label. So it's like, okay, I got where it comes from, but still we're located in Germany.
Yeah, apparently so. Because in my top 10, I think 6 out of the 10 releases were Finnish.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, especially if you're into melodic death metal or doom metal, though there's a lot of stuff coming from there. And also from Sweden, of course. I think it's also the weather. You know, if you lack some sunlight, then you're inspired by doing that kind of music. But yeah, as I said, it has to be quality, and that's what they are delivering for sure.
Yeah. I was wondering still, like you had now your first like year with the label, if there's like any moment that really like stuck out for you the past year.
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, of course, negatively is the whole COVID stuff stood out pretty early on I think in March it really hit us, where we had to move back the album of Gomorrah and didn't really know how it's going to continue. And of course, everyone thought it'll be a few weeks and then stuff is over. But on the positive side, we got 2 top 10 album chart entries in Finland, which was really a surprise, which I didn't expect. That was for Yuma Void and Kaunis Kuolematon. That was like something we would have never thought of. Of course, we're always happy for every review that we're getting from you guys, and from, especially for Kaunis Kuolematon, we got so many 9 out of 10 ratings in reviews. It was just blown away. It's of course, when we hear the music in advance, we like all those bands and those albums. Otherwise, we wouldn't release them. But you never really know if it translates and if people also get it the way we get it. But then if you get this feedback, it's always, as I said, it's really motivating and really nice to see that what we're doing together with the bands helps them. Also, especially for Finnish bands, like Kaunis Kuolematon, who are singing in Finnish, have a Finnish band name, Finnish titles. It's hard to get out of their home country. And that was also my main goal for that band, to make them heard across the world, especially in Europe and now hopefully also a bit more in the US.
Yeah.
So it's great to see getting feedback from people all over the world who discovered that band and heard of them for the first time. I mean, that's exactly what we wanted to achieve. And then also, of course, getting the biggest chart entry in their home country is even it's like the icing on the cake, the cherry on top, which is just fantastic. So and I hope to move on like that. Also, whenever we sign a band, it's like a great moment to have a drink on when you see one of your favorite bands signs a record deal with you. It's just, I would have never thought of that a few years ago.
Yeah, it must be pretty cool to see it.
Mm-hmm. It's like a dream come true.
Yeah, can only imagine. Well, I'm looking forward to the many things that 2021 will bring now. And I don't know, somehow your label sort of struck a chord with me. That's why I wanted to have a chat with you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's another thing where I'm really blown away to hear that from experts like you. We will get so many music every day and do so many reviews and work with so many bands all the time, that we managed to stand out as a label for you. It's really I don't know the words. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something there. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, of course, as I said, we'll blow away some eardrums, some evil black metal and death metal, some really cool new signings from across the world. And we'll just see how it goes, and hopefully fans will accept what we do and appreciate the bands, and our fans get some more followers online, and see how we can move on with that and make everyone happy, the artists, managers, fans, everyone involved. That's the goal.
It's good to hear that there's some more extreme stuff coming like this year, because like some of my riders that are more into the extreme stuff were already quite impressed with what you're doing. So if there's now even more extreme stuff coming, they might be even more like taken away by Noble Demon label.
Yeah, I mean, it also fits best to our logo, I guess.
Actually, where like did that sort of come from, like the whole name and logo?
Yeah, we were throwing around some ideas at the beginning, and it was really tough to find anything which suits, and I've seen for many other labels, their name doesn't really have any meaning or doesn't really have anything to do with the music somehow, and which I found weird somehow. But for me, I thought it has to fit as much as possible. It's the same as the logo; it just has to make sense. And I really I was really interested in showing something like these gentleman gangsters, you know, this kind of evil but charismatic, you know, like this anti-hero thing, you know, in movies or in songs, and that's what stuck with me. And I wanted to translate it somehow into the name, into the logo, and have this stand for the label. And yeah, it took us some time to find the right thing for it, but and I wanted to keep it short, like maybe 2 words, and I thought this demon thing was just pretty short and on point. And then I like the attribute noble to it, just to show this, as I said, this charismatic evil thing, which can be really cool. And I first thought of some demon, you know, with horns in his head, and maybe in a suit, you know, really cool. But then I don't know how we came to the goat later. So we had some few ideas and a few suggestions, and then we saw that draft from the designer from Kula, who also did artworks for Accept and Sabaton and a couple of other bands. And he came up with this evil face of this goat, and I thought, like, wow, it just looks at you and with these white eyes, you know, and it's just so evil and so cool. So we just had to take that, and and it fits pretty well, I think, because it's just evil, and of course I like animals a lot. And it's just simple. You see it and you don't really forget about it, because it's really clear and it translates the message in the first second. So that's really important for a logo, I think, that it sticks with it. That it sticks with you.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's a cool name. It sticks out.
Yeah, and we can do many things with it. You know, we just released a label compilation end of last year.
Yeah.
So we could also use that phase again and make something new out of it. Or we also used it for the animation video on our music videos. Just have a short animation, you know, with some new colors, and it's a really cool thing. You can always play around with it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we can sort of wrap this up a bit. Is there any like message or something you would want to send out in the world still?
Yeah, I mean, I hope that everyone stays positive no matter what's going on. And of course, we're looking forward to the next shows, which I'm not sure if there are going to be festivals this summer. But I really hope that we can meet all our artists and all our fans, maybe in fall for some tours all over Europe or wherever. Not sure if maybe some late summer festivals will be possible. So no, I'm still not really convinced if this summer is going to look like previous ones, where everything will be better and where we can hang out with a few beers, watching some shows and some concerts. And I really hope for the best, and I really hope to hang out with friends again, with new fans and with our artists, and just have a big party and just having fun again, you know, not being locked down at home for a whole year again, but really going out and enjoy life again. I hope that's gonna happen for everyone. So that's why we have to look forward, even if it takes a little bit longer now. But I think there's a light at the end of the tunnel now, and that we always stay positive. I mean, that's the only way to go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for the chat.
And I thank you and all the fans, of course, and our bands for making all this possible. You know, I think we're always just the hub in between, you know, the fans and the bands, and make sure that they get together in any way possible. And now more internet-based, but hopefully soon also in person, to have more real fun and not just virtual fun. But for the time being, we can listen to great music. I mean, that's the most important.